Silver Recaps here. Today, we follow a ballerina thrust into a deadly web of espionage. With betrayal around every corner, can she survive the dangerous secrets she's entangled in? We're introduced to Dominika, a talented ballet dancer who's desperately trying to make a living to support her ailing mother, who constantly needs medical care. One evening, during a performance, her partner accidentally steps on her foot, breaking her leg. The injury is severe enough to end her dancing career forever, leaving her devastated and uncertain about how she'll earn money or afford her mother's treatment. Months pass and her leg finally heals, but Dominika's future remains uncertain. One day, her uncle Ivan, who is the deputy director of Russia's secret intelligence agency, visits her. He tells Dominika that he needs her help and offers her a job. However, Dominika firmly refuses his offer, unwilling to work with him. Her uncle then reveals a shocking truth. Dominika's accident wasn't just a mistake. Her leg was intentionally broken, and the person responsible was her own friend. She did it to take Dominika's place in the ballet. Hearing this, Dominika is devastated and furious. She storms over to her friend's house and beats her in anger. Still hurt and seeking answers, Dominika meets with her uncle Ivan again, now ready to ask what he wants her to do. Ivan explains that there's a powerful gangster she needs to seduce and lure to a hotel room where agents will take over from there. In exchange, they'll cover all of her mother's medical expenses. Feeling cornered, Dominika reluctantly agrees. She meets the gangster at a bar, successfully seduces him, and follows him to his hotel room. However, with no agents arriving to intervene, the gangster assaults her. Dominika is devastated by this betrayal, as her only role was to lure him. Moments later, the agents finally arrive and kill the gangster, but the damage is already done, leaving Dominika emotionally shattered. She confronts her uncle, declaring that she'll never take on such a job again. Ivan, however, remains indifferent, showing no sympathy for what she's endured, treating it as just another part of his plan. Ivan coldly tells Dominika, "Now that you know our secrets and how we operate, you're part of the secret agency. If you refuse to work with us, you'll be eliminated, as you know too much." Meanwhile, in Moscow, we're introduced to a man named Nate Nash, an American CIA agent. Nate meets with a contact he calls Marble, a Russian mole providing valuable intel to the CIA. After passing on some information, Marble attempts to leave, but the police suddenly arrive. To protect Marble's identity and ensure his escape, Nate fires shots to draw the police's attention to himself, allowing Marble to slip away unnoticed. Nate is subsequently apprehended and sent back to the United States. However, determined to continue his mission, Nate insists on returning to Russia. His superiors instead assign him to Budapest, where he can safely re-establish contact with Marble. Meanwhile, back in Russia, Ivan, the director of the secret agency, is shown preparing his next moves. Ivan reviews video footage of Nate's meeting with Marble. Observing the footage, he deduces that Marble must be a member of Russia's own intelligence agency who has been betraying them. Determined to eliminate Marble at any cost, Ivan decides to send a spy to handle the situation. He approaches Dominika, instructing her to go to Budapest for a mission. But first, she must undergo intensive training. Dominika is sent to a grueling and dangerous Sparrow training school, designed to teach operatives the art of seduction and manipulation. Although the training is extremely challenging, Dominika completes it swiftly. Once trained, she's dispatched to Budapest with a single mission: to gain Nate's trust so she can get close to Marble, whose true identity is unknown to everyone, including Ivan. Only Nate has access to Marble, and Dominika's assignment is to use Nate to reach the mole. In Budapest, Dominika is placed with another agent and begins shadowing Nate, even joining the same swimming club he frequents. She makes a point of crossing paths with him repeatedly, hoping to catch his attention. Her striking beauty eventually draws Nate's notice, and one day, as they pass each other on the street, he stops to talk to her. Nate begins to suspect Dominika's true intentions. The next day at the swimming club, Dominika realizes her ID card is missing. Unbeknownst to her, Nate has taken it to confirm his suspicions. After examining the card, he concludes that she's indeed a Russian spy sent to get close to him. Despite knowing this, Nate continues meeting with Dominika, aware that she's likely trying to extract information about Marble. However, he decides to keep her close, playing along to stay in control of the situation. One day, when Dominika returns home, she finds something unexpected. She notices that her flatmate, who is also a spy, isn't there. Curious, she searches the apartment and discovers that her roommate has a meeting arranged with an American spy to exchange information for money. Dominika realizes that her roommate has been assigned a mission similar to hers, involving covert information trades and secretive dealings. Dominika struggles to complete her mission, unable to uncover anything about Marble. Frustrated, Ivan visits her, demanding to know why her progress is so slow. He warns her that if things don't improve, her life will be at risk. Dominika explains that her slow progress is due to assisting her fellow agent with her mission. Hearing this, Ivan is furious and tells her to focus solely on her own assignment. While Dominika is away, a Russian agent arrives at her apartment and kills her flatmate, believing she had shared classified mission details with Dominika. Although her flatmate never shared any information, Dominika's comment about working together led Ivan and Russian intelligence to believe there was a leak. When Dominika returns home, the Russian agent confronts her, issuing a dire warning. If she fails her mission, meet the same fate. Terrified, Dominika realizes the deadly stakes of her assignment. Dominika goes to Nate's apartment where he confronts her, saying, "I know you're a Russian spy." Dominika admits that she had no choice but to become a spy to protect her and her mother's lives. Nate assures her, "I can guarantee your safety and your mother's as well, but you'll have to become a double agent and work for us." After some hesitation, Dominika agrees, and the two grow closer, spending the night together. The next morning, as Dominika leaves Nate's apartment, she discreetly takes a glass with his fingerprints on it. Later, Nate meets with Marble, who warns him, "Stay away from Dominika. She's a Russian spy and could be a serious threat." Despite Marble's warning, Nate doesn't back off from working with Dominika. He even introduces her to his fellow agents. Dominika tells them, "I'll work for you, but in return, I need $30,000. The American agents question why they should agree to this, and Dominika explains, "I can help you. The woman I lived with was a Russian operative on a mission to buy classified information from the staff of a US senator. Now that she's dead, that mission has been assigned to me, and I can help you with it." Impressed by her offer, the agents agree to pay her. Dominika then meets with the senator's chief of staff, who hands her a disc containing sensitive information. Under watchful eyes from both Russian and American agents, Dominika discreetly switches out the disc for a different one with fake information and successfully passes it to Nate. As the senator's staff member leaves, she's quickly surrounded by American agents. Realizing her cover has been blown, she tries to flee, but with agents on every side, she panics, backing into traffic where she's struck by a car and killed. The Russian agency is shaken by the death of the senator's staff member, who was one of their key informants. Suspicion falls on Dominika and her supervisor, as they were the only ones aware of the details of the meeting. Both are summoned back to Russia, where they undergo brutal interrogation. Dominika's supervisor doesn't survive, but Dominika endures the torture. During questioning, Dominika insists, "I did all of this to gain Nate's trust and to get closer to Marble." She claims to have won Nate's confidence and is on the verge of reaching Marble. Her explanation convinces Ivan and the agency, and they agree to send her back to Budapest to continue her mission. However, before leaving, Dominika visits Ivan at his home and even subtly seduces him to distract him from his suspicions. Despite this, Ivan remains wary and secretly assigns another spy to follow Dominika to Budapest. Upon returning to Budapest, Dominika's first move is to reconnect with Nate. Nate is thrilled to see Dominika again and embraces her warmly. She confides in him about her struggles and the risks she's taken. Though Nate doesn't reveal anything about Marble yet, he clearly has strong feelings for her, and they grow closer, spending the night together. When Dominika wakes up, she's horrified to find the Russian agent who had been sent to follow her standing in the room, holding Nate captive. The agent is determined to extract Marble's true identity and won't stop until he gets it. Nate, however, refuses to give up any information. Desperate to protect Nate and keep her cover, Dominika begins to interrogate him, pretending to join the Russian agent. She asks for Marble's real name, but as the torture continues, she suddenly turns on the Russian agent, attacking him to save Nate. In the ensuing struggle, Dominika manages to kill the agent, though both she and Nate are left severely injured. They are taken to the hospital, where they begin a slow recovery, both physically and emotionally shaken by the ordeal. At the hospital, Dominika receives an unexpected visit from General Korchnoi, Ivan's senior officer whom she has known from her earlier assignments. He reveals that he is aware Nate hasn't shared Marble's true identity with her and accuses her of hiding details from the Russian agency, including her involvement in the death of the agent sent to spy on her. Dominika denies any wrongdoing, but Korchnoi reassures her, saying, "You don't need to fear me. The Marble you're seeking, whom Nate is trying to protect, is none other than me." He explains that he was once a loyal servant of Russia, but everything changed when his wife became critically ill. There was an American doctor who could save her, but the Russian authorities wouldn't allow it, fearing Korchnoi's secrets might be exposed to the Americans. His wife ultimately died, and Korchnoi was left disillusioned by a system he saw as corrupt. That day, he chose to work as a double agent for both Russia and America to bring change from within. Korchnoi tells Dominika that her current circumstances are are due to her uncle Ivan's manipulations. He had the power to help her, yet he chose not to. Korchnoi then offers her a choice. If she exposes him to Russian intelligence, she'll be celebrated as a national hero and could step into his role as a double agent, working covertly for both countries to eventually dismantle the corrupt system from within. Korchnoi reveals that he is nearing capture and wants Dominika to expose him, allowing her to replace him in his mission. Trusting her resolve, he believes she can continue his work for the greater good. After hearing Korchnoi's truth, Dominika decides to act. She returns to Russian intelligence headquarters with a plan in mind, ready to carry out her next move. Dominika reveals everything about Marble's identity, but when the Russian agents arrive, they arrest Ivan, not General Korchnoi. Dominika had framed Ivan as Marble, providing convincing evidence that implicated him. She had set up an account under Ivan's name, showing deposits of $30,000 from American sources. Furthermore, when she visited Ivan's home, she had left a glass with Nate's fingerprints, taken from Nate's apartment, as proof of Ivan's connection with Nate. From the beginning, Dominika had been carefully setting a trap for Ivan, ensuring that he couldn't prove his innocence. As a result, Ivan is executed by the Russian intelligence agency, ending his involvement and influence. Dominika, now regarded as the one who exposed Marble, receives a promotion and continues her life in Russia, happily caring for her mother. Though content, she often thinks of Nate, as he still holds a place in her heart. One day, she receives a call from an unknown number. On the other end, there's only the sound of a piano melody, the same tune Nate once mentioned to her. Hearing it, she realizes it's Nate reaching out. And with that, the story concludes, leaving us with the hope of a possible reunion. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and subscribe to Silver Recaps for more thrilling tales.